Important to mention this because it's not all about what you eat, but what you don't eat. Because one thing that has been shown consistently to extend life in virtually all species that have been tested is calorie restriction. You heard me right. That means eating less. So we often focus on what is the right thing to eat so that we don't degenerate. But how about not eating so much? Calorie restriction extends life. So one of the mistakes we make in Western society often is we eat too much. If we want to have less degeneration, we should eat less. And all of the studies on calorie restriction show it has multiple health benefits, including extension of life. So that's what this slide is showing. I think this shows what happens when you study calorie restriction in primates. Here on the right you have a monkey that has been calorie restricted, and on the left, same age, but has a normal diet. So I think you can see, looking at them, this is the calorie restricted monkey. Although he looks a bit miserable, probably because he's calorie restricted, look how much healthier his fur is. And what also we know from studying these primates is that they have less diabetes, they're less prone to cancer, and they're less prone to cardiovascular disease, just from calorie restriction. Now that should give us a clue, folks. The same diseases that are killing us can be prevented by calorie restriction. So don't take this point lightly. It's a big one, because we anti-aging doctors have known this for many years. And mainstream is starting to wake up a little bit now, but not enough to do something about it which is really effective. Here's the good news, folks, or a bit of good news, is that this calorie restriction, the mechanisms that are stimulated in the body by restricting calories, revolve around different markers, but in particular one called AMPK, and it's not important that you remember it. It's a key metabolic sensor in the body, and when you calorie restrict, it seems to upregulate this metabolic sensor, which improves your mitochondrial function, which is one of the things that degenerates in aging, don't forget. So good news is that certain plant nutrients stimulate the same pathway that calorie restriction does. In particular, compounds called polyphenols. So it's really interesting. A lot of anti-aging science is around looking at these polyphenols and how they can be used to allow us to age better and to prevent disease. Because by now you're starting to see that those two things are connected. Okay? So interestingly, these aging pathways, this metabolic pathway is stimulated by certain plant nutrients. And there are now even, I don't know how many of you have heard of fasting mimicking diets. How many of you have actually heard of this? A few of you have already. Very interesting, very exciting, because basically what these are, it's a packaged 5-day plant-based diet that people basically buy and take for 5 days each month if you want to, if you're fit and well, 3 times a year or twice a year. And what this does is it fools your body into thinking you're fasting when you're not. But here's the thing, it creates the same benefits physiologically that fasting does, which are, and this has been proven by research, reduces inflammation, reduces oxidative stress, reduces cell proliferation, and enhances DNA repair. So this reinforces the concept that calorie restriction, fasting, intermittent fasting, is actually something that we human beings, if we want to age better and reduce our risk of disease, should firmly embrace.